Welcome to the review and preview problems 933 to 940. 933 in the diagram below, line segment DE is a mid-segment of triangle ABC. If the area of triangle ABC is 96 square units, what is the area of ADE? Explain how you know. So we know that if it is a mid-segment, then it must be half the length of BC. So DE must be half the length of BC. So in terms of our ratio of the lengths, the ratio would be 0.5 or 1/2. In this case, they were talking to us about the area, so we know that we have to take that ratio and square it, would give us 0.25. So 96 units squared times 0.25 would give us 24 units squared. A regular hexagonal prism has a volume of 2,546.13 centimeters cubed, and the base has an edge of 14 centimeters. So if we are talking about a hexagon, we are talking about a six-sided shape. So if our base is 14 units, we can find the surface area of that base by taking 360 divided by 6 and telling us that our central angle is 60. If we take that and divide that into a right triangle, we're working with 30 and 7. We need to find the height, so we're going to use the tangent of 30 degrees is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. We're going to multiply by x, divide by tangent of 30, which gives us approximately 12.12 for our height. So to find the area of our triangle, we do 1/2 our base, which is 14, times our height, which is 12.12, and we get approximately 84.87. We have 6 triangles, so we need to multiply that by 6. So the base, the area of our hexagonal base is 509.22. We then can take our original volume and divide that. So this is the area of our hexagon. When we took our area of our hexagonal prism and divided that by our area of just our hexagon or our base, we get approximately 5 centimeters would represent our height of our prism. So our height is approximately 5. We then know that these sides are 14 by 5, so in order to find the surface area, we found the area of one of our hexagonal bases to be 509.22. So we need to multiply that by 2 to get our surface area, and then we need to take 14 times 5 And then we're going to multiply that number because there's 6 of those sides. And then we're going to add these two things together. So we get 509.22 times 2 gives us 1018.44. If we do 14 times 5, we get 70. We then need to multiply that by 6 sides. We get 420. So when we add those two things together, we get 1,438.44. We're talking about surface area, so we need units, centimeters squared. Are triangle EHF and FGE congruent? If so, explain how you know. So when we look at our triangles, they told us that these two angles at the bottom are congruent, so it may be easier if you separate these two triangles and look at them like this. So they told us angle E is congruent to angle F. They also told us angle G is congruent to angle H. We then know that the base is congruent as well because it is a shared side. So by angle, angle, side congruence, we can say yes, they are. A sandwich shop delivers lunches by bicycles to nearby office buildings. Unfortunately, sometimes the delivery is made later than promised. A delay can occur either because food preparation took too long or because the bicycle rider got lost. Last month, the food preparation took too long or the rider got lost 7% of the time. During the same month, the food preparation took longer than expected 11 times, and the bicycle rider got lost 4 times. There were 200 deliveries made during the month. For a random selected delivery last month, find the probability that both the food preparation took long and the rider got lost. So we can use the addition rule, which 11 out of the 200 times plus 4 out of the 200 times, it took longer to prepare or the bicycler got lost. Then we can subtract from that the probability of too long and lost, which results in the probability of a 0.5% that the food took too long and the rider got lost. 9-37 says, remember that the absolute value of a number is its positive value. For example, the absolute number of 5 the absolute value of -5 equals 5, and the absolute value of 5 equals 5. Use the understanding to solve the equations below, if possible. If there is no solution, explain how you know. So when we are looking at letter A, it is asking us, what is the value of x that is exactly 6 units from 6? So we can say the absolute value of x, 6, is equal to 6, or -6, the absolute value of -6, is also equal to 6. When we look at B, it says, what is the value of x that if we take the absolute value of it is equal to -2? Well, there is no value because there is no -2 distance from 0. So we can't have an absolute value can never be set equal to a negative number. When we look at letter C, if we say the absolute value of x plus 7 is equal to 10, well, we say x plus 7 is equal to positive 10, or we can say x plus 7 is equal to negative 10. We can use our inverse operations, so we get x can either equal negative 17 or x equals 3. So the only way to get rid of absolute value bars is to break it into two problems. 9-38 says Cindy's cylindrical paint bucket has a diameter, so we have our paint bucket, and it has a diameter of 12 inches, a height of 14.5 inches. If 1 gallon is approximately 231 inches cubed, how many gallons does her paint bucket hold? So we need to find the area of our base, so the area of our circle with a diameter of 12, so our radius is 6, so pi times 6 squared, 36 pi inches squared is the area of our base. We need to multiply that by our height, which is 14.5, which gives us approximately 522 pi inches cubed. So we then can set up a proportion. We know her bucket has 522 inches cubed. We want to know how many gallons of paint she has. If in 1 gallon we have 231 inches cubed. So we can multiply. Don't forget there's a pi behind this 522. We can multiply straight across, so our inches cancel out, and divide that by 231, so 522 pi divided by 231 gives us approximately 7.109 gallons in her bucket. So 9-39 says write the exponential function that passes through the points 0, 32, and 3, 4. So remember back to Algebra 1, an exponential function is the equation y equals ab to the x power. Our b is our multiplier, and our a is our initial value. We're going to have to solve for our multiplier in this case. We know our initial value is 32, and then we know an x and a y coordinate, so we can say 4 is equal to 32 times b raised to the 3rd power. We're going to divide by 32 on both sides. So 4 divided by 32 is equal to b cubed. We're going to take the cube root of 4 over 32 to get our multiplier, which tells us b is 0.5. So we then just need to rewrite our equation. Y equals our initial value of 32 times 1/2 to the x power. 9-40 says a cork is shaped of a cylinder and has a radius of 2 centimeters and a height of 5 centimeters and weighs 2.5 grams. What is the volume of the cork? So if we find our area of our base times our height, pi r squared is the area of our circle, So pi times 2 squared gives us 4 pi. We then want to multiply that by our height of 5. So we get 20 pi centimeters cubed is the volume of our quark. And what is the quark's density in grams per cubic centimeter? That is, how many grams of quark are there per cubic centimeter? So when we multiply 20 pi out, we get 62.83 cubic centimeters. To find out in our next problem how many grams per cubic centimeter, we want to actually divide the weight that they gave us, which was 2.5 grams, by our cubic centimeter. So it's important to multiply your 20 pi out first, otherwise put 20 pi in parentheses so it follows your order of operations and multiplies that in fact first instead of multiplying by pi second. And we would get approximately 0.0397, which would round to 0.04 grams per centimeters cubed.